The basic knowledge of most people about water cycle is how water flows in a circular motion which is constantly repeated again and again. Evaporation is when the sun heats the water, turning it into a gas or water vapor. Transpiration is the process of evaporation from plants which releases water vapor. The next is condensation, where water vapor cools and turns into a liquid again. Precipitation is where the water falls from the sky as rain. Another phase of the water cycle is called the runoff, where water flows to rivers, oceans, lakes, or creeks. Percolation is when water leaks into soils or rocks. And lastly, infiltration is where water falls to the ground, which soils soak for plants to grow. The water cycle is significant to all living organisms because it ensures the availability of water to the people, the environment, and the entire ecosystem. The water cycle is how water reaches humans, animals, plants, nature, and different bodies of water. In addition, water cycle also helps move things such as nutrients, fossils, rocks, and pathogens in and out of the water.
Now let us discuss anthropogenic effects on the water cycle and water. How do we define anthropogenic effects? These events result from human activities in opposition to natural events and are unaffected by human activity. Human actions such as excessive population growth, burning fossil fuels, and deforestation greatly impact the physical environment. With this, harmful effects arise such as global warming, soil erosion, low quality air, and contaminated water. We humans greatly impact the water cycle. The greenhouse gases that we release causes the rainfall or precipitation and evaporation to be altered, leading to global warming and also affecting the water supply and demand. Another human activity is where we take massive quantities of water from the river by constructing dams for water storage and withdrawals for commercial, agricultural, and domestic uses.
In addition to having an impact on the water cycle, it also affects the water itself. One of the main causes of poor water quality is due to industrial pollution, in which humans release harmful chemicals, pollutants, and waste products from industrial processes into water bodies such as rivers, lakes, and oceans. The Pasig River, which was once praised for its beauty, now overflows with garbage and untreated domestic and industrial sewage due to irresponsible dumping of waste by its citizens. Furthermore, one of the factors contributing to poor water quality is water contamination from agricultural runoff.
An invasive species is an organism that causes ecological and economic harm in a new environment where it is not native.
Non-native species will become invasive to their new ecosystem if they outcompete native species for resource and food, and alter the physical structure of the new area. They may also produce or consume too much nutrients. These changes brought about invasive species will disrupt the existing balance within the native ecosystem.
In addition to these, there may be some heritable changes in the gene expressions of native species. A higher water temperature, a lower water quality, insufficient nutrient levels in the water, and other physical changes in the environment may affect gene expression.
The water hyacinth is a floating plant that lives on the water surface. Because of where they settle, water hyacinth can block the sunlight from entering the water. Reed canary grass is another invasive plant species that can modify the movement of water in the invaded area because of its dense growth. It can also compete with other plants, leading to habitat loss for native wildlife.
Zebra mussels are freshwater mollusks that are known for their fast reproduction. They attach themselves to natural and man-made surfaces in bodies of water. Their presence on this surface can disrupt water flow and outcompete native species. The Burmese python is also an example of invasive species. It is native to Southeast Asia but can now be found in the Florida Everglades.
Invasive species are harmful to native ecosystem. Preventive measures and knowledge about invasive species are very important to avoid introducing harmful species to ecosystem. The public may act more responsibly after learning about invasive species. While prevention is better than cure, it is also important that communities and their leaders have species monitoring, management, and strategy readily available.
Humans are invasive whether we like it or not, whether we intended to or not. Our activities and movement around the world can directly and indirectly lead to disruptions in native ecosystems.
As a group, we encourage individuals to be educated and have a better perspective in developing more ecologically friendly, sustainable approaches.
Seemingly small, unimpactful actions, such as conserving water at home and reusing water, will have a great effect if enough people started doing them.